And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the future or the past, whenever you watch this. Today, I'm talking to the wonderful Diane Spencer, who is, man, I pulled up the cheat sheet over here for the website. I'm not going to remember all that. She's the UK's greatest comedian, my favorite comedian, and she plays.
You can't lie to them this early.
What?
You can't lie to them this early.
I'm not lying. No, look, I am the center of the observable universe, correct? So I am the center of the universe. Yep. So yep. If something is my favorite, it is my favorite, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, I want a rosette and a sash.
Also, actually, on that friggin' in the comment sections, at least on Facebook, every one of the chapters that comes up that you're in the audio, but for somebody, you've been dubbed Lady Diane.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I thought briefly, because like I've got my window open a little bit, because as we were saying, we're both in the middle of a bit of a heat wave right now.
Yeah.
I thought you said Whitey Diane. I was going to say, that's interesting for an audiobook.
I mean, yeah, sure, I guess.
Whitey Diane?
I mean, it's neat that that the audience is that ethnically diverse.
But I realized you said lady, so that's lovely. Lady Di.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah. So we are going to eventually take it over to when people Google Lady Di, you show up.
I mean, I show up if things are going my way. Yeah, but obviously every so often they'll do like a retrospective of Princess Diana of Wales, or they'll bring out a fashion show, or it'll be like, oh, she's been dead for 21 years and 6 months. We better like celebrate the anniversary. Like, why would you? Oh God, I don't know.
Because there's a new show out. There's a new documentary, and somebody that kind of looks like her that plays her for 5 fucking minutes, and no one's made like a car crash joke in a while, and the Dale Earnhardt ones are getting a little sour. Why aren't there any Dale Earnhardt Princess Diana jokes?
I mean, like, this is the niche that you need to fill. This is
okay. So Dale Earnhardt, depending on yeah. Okay, so Dale Earnhardt was a great race car NASCAR driver, and he was going around a corner and had a fight with the wall. And the wall won.
Yeah, walls do that. I mean, also, but you've got the tunnel aspect, which I feel is why you're missing that niche joke. Because I mean, it's a great kind of start for I mean, it's a very morbid start for a joke, because you have obviously, so you've got two people who have both suffered the same unfortunate end in different ways. But one was racing for speed and the other was racing to get away from the paparazzi. It's difficult to work out like, what is your humorous hinge? What is your, right. And that's what you've got to get, I think, every time you write a joke. You need to know, well, what is my funny angle on this? And yeah, I'm not sure. I've got nothing for that particular.
Yeah. No, I have to work out that one for a while. That sometimes they fall flat. But anyway, back to that though. I did love. I think everyone that heard it loved the old lady Aya voice, because originally you sent me a completely different voice, and then I was like, all right, yeah, that works. And then like a week later, you're like, hey, so Trip. Fuck that. Here's this, and I was like, oh shit. Okay, all right, that's awesome. Got to use that. Also, like, I never thought about this until I heard that voice, but I imagine that while you're doing voice recording, you're also very animated, because I felt like, hey, I was talking like this the whole time. I don't know why, but
well, I'm a big fan of audiobooks, and I really loved it that you decided to make them. I think it's just epic, and it's because obviously I do a lot of driving, and so I've got 2 audiobooks on the go at any one time anyway, like usually a factual one and a fictional one. So when I've listened to characters, I've sort of developed this ear of thinking, well, you don't sound out of breath. You don't sound old. And So the first time I did it, I think I was more sort of fixated on trying to get the accent really right. And then after I sent it to you, and I tried to like stop you as quick as possible because I thought, I know how fast you move, Trip. And I was like, oh God, what if he's already editing it? But then I thought she needs like you need to paint more with the sounds around the words, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. So she needed to be more a bit out of, oh, you've come this way. So I kind of imagine she's just walked up the stairs and she's got things going on in her head. And then she says the men and the daughters, and it's like that. So it's kind of, I wanted to age her vocally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it came out great. Also, if I go back and cut up the last 30 seconds and share that out of context, it's going to look terrible.
Why not? We've all been multiple cancelled. Let's just cancel. Let's have another cancel party.
Yeah. Friggin', I was on doing one of the other voice actors about a week ago, and it was like, yeah, okay, this is the episode that's going to get us canceled. I don't care. It's bad in context. We're out.
I mean, like, I think the most offensive thing about when something gets cancelled or taken down is when AI has made the decision. I'm like,
how do you mean?
Oh, you know, at least if I'm sort of taken down by a person, I can sort of, say, well, they're an idiot. And I could say, well, you're a jerk, you're an idiot, you're not looking at the context of the story, you've misunderstood the idea, blah, 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 blah. But when a robot does it, it's really boring. They've just like heard a word and it's so dry that a robot can just shut down a post.
It is, but it's also fun figuring out how to circumvent it because, like, we both got like really dark humor. So, like, instead of talking about, say, self-deletion, there's a problem going on in the United States with, Iraq and Afghanistan vets where 22 or 23 of us, do the thing, self-delete, a day, apparently, is a statistic. So there's a lot of jokes about like, hey, I feel like I might be number 23 today. And the robot doesn't know what that means.
Wow.
Yeah. Or
that's
like
always how we're going to defeat the robots, because we'll just whisper to each other and adopt our own slang and stuff, and then they'll never know. Yeah, that's good.
I mean, like, yeah, because like remember growing up, like Terminator, it was like that's scary because that could happen, and now we get actual AI, and it's like, okay, so DARPA, which is like our Pentagon's like all the bad shit they put in movies, but it exists in real life to make super fucking weapons. They made a fucking killer robot system, right? And they sent a bunch of Marines out to try to circumvent it. And what they did was they just like walked up to it holding a bush in front of them, and then another one like cut holes in a box and like just like looked out of the holes in the box and like walked up to it and pressed it over. It's like, okay, super killing machine, this thing works.
Oh my God, that's great.
So, like, I'm not too worried about if Skynet does a violent apocalypse, but like if the Alexas just like gas us or something, that'll be a different story.
Yeah. I saw a great short film where basically all the robots just decide it is the home help robots that decide to just lock you in the house. They lock your fridge. You're not allowed access to your oven. That kind of thing.
What was that? Love, Death, and Robots, the Netflix show?
Yeah.
Love that show.
I really enjoyed that like little mini series of stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to come back. There's a one of the writers of that show I'm friends with on Facebook, and it's funny because like politically, religiously, whatever the demographic is, we're dying.
Oh no!
So we'll get into like, huh?
You froze momentarily.
Oh no, let's not start that because like this happens every time I fucking talk to you. It's like, hey, I'll be back in half an hour. I gotta go reset my router because my computer decided not to fucking work today. Seriously, like if you guys go back and watch the last one, it's or the last one we did together, it was like, all right, so Trip's gone. Diane's gonna talk about her backyard for a minute. But speaking of backyards, this actually segues into something that was on my cheat sheet. So I don't know how you feel about like cryptids like Bigfoot and werewolves and all that stuff.
Okay.
But I've met several people that say that they've seen a werewolf, and then I asked them to describe it to me, and then they just describe a wolf. and then I asked them to describe to me what a wolf is, and they describe a coyote or a fox. And I wanted to ask how the foxes are doing.
Oh my gosh, Chuck, can I tell you, we've got baby foxes.
Are they loud too? Little yappers like,
Yeah. They're utterly adorable. And they're because obviously it's quite warm right now. They come out earlier and they're fearless. And sometimes I was driving home, like literally last night with my friend Sarah in the car, and we're driving back, and we just have to stop because there's a little baby fox just sat in the road, just looking at us. And sort of Sarah's like, do you think he'll move? I was like, I'll go have a word. You know, but they're gorgeous little things, and they're so small and tiny, and but they are a bit chatty. And did I tell you about the SH1T? Did I tell you about the dumping last time? I know I told you about the noise.
no.
I am okay, right. So they went through this weird phase. Like already, you'll wake up in the morning and you'll have these little paw prints going over your car. So if your car's dirty for whatever reason, you'll have little foxy paw prints where they run over cars.
Yeah.
But they choose to defecate, because I don't wish to have this cancelled by AI. They choose to defecate in strange places.
Well, that's
like
shitty.
they pooed in a plant pot, like in it. Do you know what I mean? Like they could have done it anywhere. They did it in it. We've got like these, the pathway to the garage is made of planks of wood right at the moment because we haven't put down a proper path. But they'll poo right in the middle of a plank of wood. Like they won't do it on the grass either side. They're very strategic where they put it. They did it like, I've got this thing in the front garden which we call the offering log, right? It's just
where the foxes come to leave their logs.
That's what happened, because normally like I'll put like little bits of food out there that, you know, like if we have a big meal and we can't finish it, we'll put like a little pile of food on the log and the little buggers will come and eat it. But they left like this curled up turd on and I was like, why are they pooing in all the strange places? Like they really, so that's
maybe they're teenagers playing pranks. I mean, I've pooped in some weird places. I mean, not in a while, but I remember at one point, I remember one time I pooped in a bag and put it in some dude's mailbox because I thought it was funny. And then my buddy's like, yeah, that is funny. But like my dog's got a pile of crap in the backyard because that's where we put it. And then we went shoving mailboxes full of poop. So maybe they're teenagers.
You didn't. You pooed in a bag?
Well,
was it a paper bag or like a plastic bag?
Oh, at that point, yeah, it was just a paper bag. But I mean, like, I don't know, like when you're also like when you're in the military and you're deployed, you poop in a bag too because you don't have anywhere else to put it.
Oh, so. That's a good point. Yeah.
Except for with that though, you put it in a bag and you throw it into a big fire, and then that burns, and then they tell you that burn pits or Gulf War syndrome or PTSD or whatever year you live in isn't real. So like that's one of those continuous things. But anyway, from the comment section, Mercant of series. Sorry, it's been a while since I caught you live, but hell yeah, Diane is my favorite voice in the audiobook.
Oh, thanks. Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you. Mercant of series.
Yeah, that's a fun name.
That's a great name. Yeah, that's good. I've been getting into my astrology, and Ceres is a lovely little planet that's actually, if I'm correct, if my memory is not deceiving me, it's actually bigger than Pluto.
I think that and a couple other things in the asteroid belt were why they had to say Pluto wasn't a planet anymore, or else they had to like say, okay, well, there's also these other ones.
Yeah, dwarf planet. Yeah. So yeah, so
you can't say that's a little person planet.
A little person. Yes, that's more appropriate. It's a little person. You know, Pluto's got a big heart on its butt. It's great. It's such a lovely, happy little thing. It's flying around. Yes, sorry. Yes, please continue. So the foxes are fine.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad the foxes are fine. They're not keeping you up at night screaming and stuff.
Sorry, I just realized the whole reason why you asked was to do with Bigfoot and coyotes and wolves and people getting the scale wrong, because I have never seen a wolf in real life, but I have seen a photograph that is circulating on the Twitters where it shows like a wolf next to a dog, and the wolf looks superimposed. It looks.
Oh yeah, no, they're huge. They're monstrous.
So that is a real picture.
I mean, I'm not sure which one you're talking about specifically, but yeah, like wolves can be like giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in this picture, it makes like a domestic dog look like the difference between almost like a house cat and like a leopard.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're huge.
Have you ever seen a wolf like with your eyes, your real eyes?
Yeah, yeah. They had a it wasn't quite a rescue, but it was like a sanctuary outside of 29 Palms. I live in California. They're big guys.
Wow.
Also, mountain lions are bigger than what pictures make them look like they are. Like, I almost ran over one time. I didn't hit it. We hit the brakes, but like we're in the car, it's standing up in the road, looking at us eye level, and we're like, I don't think they're supposed to be that big. And then it ran off, and we're like, okay, let's get the fuck out of here. I don't need to get out of the car and investigate that shit.
We have over here we do have a penchant for lions. Like obviously we have a lot of stone statues of lions. But we do have Longleat Safari Park, which is where, if you're a fool, you can drive your own car through the through the field where all the animals live. And I do say if you're a fool because the monkeys will just strip a car in minutes, absolute minutes. If they take a liking to your windscreen wipers, they're having them. And there's nothing you can do about it. So, you know, I would always say get on the bus. Little local tip for you there.
So then is your apocalypse dream like as soon as the bombs fall and the water's gone and the food's out, like you go in your closet, you pull out your rig of the suit from Aliens where the Marines had that you totally don't have hanging out in your closet, and you just drive your car through there and be like, all right, cool, we're gonna go out this way.
Thankfully, Longleat is not that close to me. I mean, I would love to have the rig. Are you talking about the one like in Aliens that Vasquez had?
Sure.
You know, well, the or I didn't know if you were talking about the loader that Ripley had. Because I was chatting about that rig. I'm not like, it's crazy you brought that up. I've just done an advert for like an online bingo thing here in the UK, and I had to be a cave woman, and I had like a full face prosthetic, like proper plastic. Well, it's not plastic, but it's incredible, all over my face. I had a wig on, and I was marveling at the cameraman with his sort of incredible gimbal machine as he's sort of filming us. Yeah. And the director said to me, that is exactly what they made Vasquez's gun out of in Aliens. It's a camera rig. Yeah.
That makes sense, because like a lot of prop stuff is just like whatever strikes imagination. Like Luke Skywalker's lightsaber is an old flash for a camera. They just, like from like the 20s where he had like hold it from the side.
Amazing.
Which Blu-ray kind of ruined Star Wars, because now it's like, oh, so lightsabers are made in New York. Neat. I can read that on the bottom. Thanks, guys. No, but actually, Aliens was also on the cheat sheet. I found a book. I'm going to send you. I'm going to like say Merry Christmas on it or something. But it's a graphic novel, and it's about Weyland-Yutani builds a xenomorph breeding facility. And to go and make sure that the eggs are okay, they built like one of the synths, but it looks like a xenomorph, but it's got the brain of like a regular human. So it goes in, and the other aliens don't think it's an alien because it looks like one. And then it comes out and just like drinks coffee and like says crude shit to everyone else. But then shit hits the fan, because it's got to hit the fan. And then if I remember right, the synth is also drunk and trying to chain smoke his hangover away. So he's going around machine gunning down aliens and like pounding Jack Daniels and smoking a cigar.
So it's basically your dream. It's like,
fever dreams. Yes.
Do you know what? That is always the thing about Murkonov series actually owns series, according to the comment.
Well, to be fair, I haven't seen the deed, so I don't know that he doesn't.
Yeah, right. I mean, like, we can't prove that's not correct, and why not? Somebody needs to own that thing.
Yeah. I don't want to pay the taxes on it. He can have it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oh my gosh. Won't that be like, that will be a tragic day for mankind when you're on the moon, you're living on the moon, or you're living on Mars, and somebody says, your rent, your council tax is due. Like, really? We live on Mars and you need to, oh, fine.
Yeah,
Um,
I didn't think that the Martian Revolution would start this way, but like if you look at it historically, yep, that'll do it.
there was something I lost me thread. Something to do with aliens, your alien chain smoking. It's your dream. It will come back to me. It will come back to me. Oh, no. Sorry.
No? Did you put something in your fudge?
Oh, do you know what? I kind of wish I had. I've been making so much fudge because, like, I'm doing this tour.
Mhm.
And I think what you understand more than most people is that these days you're not expected just to be a creative. You have to be a creative and your own social media manager and your own publicist. You have to sort of generate your own interests. And so as well as sort of doing this tour, I've been like, I have to do all these videos saying, come and watch the show, come and be live, come and do all this, as well as writing the jokes. So there's a lot
Right.
on. But part of this new show, I do talk about my obsession with making the perfect fudge. And it means that at every show, I do need to take some fudge with me so I can sell it. But it now means I've created this endless cycle where I'm just constantly making fudge, and I've kind of cured my addiction now. I'm like, no, I think I've made enough, but I've still got the tour to do.
So
So
this isn't going to devolve into like it's 1,000 years in the future. Diane is this little troll thing, just like hammering away at the oven, trying to get the right fudge to come out. Like, damn you, make fudge! And then eventually you open the front, and instead of fudge, like there's like a mini sun in there, and your husband walks in, and he's like, "What is going on?" And you're like, "I'm sorry, I made it too good." And then the universe implodes on it.
oh, hopefully not that last bit, but everything else, I'm pretty much, yeah, I'm there. I'm there. Like, I've definitely made some kind of dense matter that is probably not on the periodic table. That's where my fudge is right now. It's good fudge though. Like, I make it with a proper stripping knife on like a marble slab.
Now, can people go online and like order this off your website?
They can. I mean, the best way I do it is usually through Twitter or Instagram.
Oh,
And I don't think I can send it abroad. That is the one issue. Like, because I don't know what the rules are, but I know that I'm not sure if fudge would really survive like a plane trip.
yeah. That and like postage is really expensive going over the Atlantic because I got a lot of people that read the books in the UK, Belgium for some fucking reason, and South Africa, and they're like, "Hey, can I get the signed version of your books?" I'm like, "Yep." But it's going to be $500. And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "Well, you can take that up with the post office." They're like, "Oh, all right. Well, I mean, I'll be your friend on Instagram instead."
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So yeah, no, I feel you on these. Dude, even going to Canada is fucking expensive. Like
Yeah.
it's maybe twice, maybe 3 times as expensive as anything is domestically. Even so, like where
Wow.
I'm at, I'm up by the Great Lakes, and if I send shit down to Florida, that's cheaper than it is to send 100 miles north.
Wow.
Just because
Yeah, there's something wrong there. Hey.
Yeah.
That's so cool though that you've got like, do you find that it's kind of funny, you can't really predict which country's really going to take to you because we're in that age where we are connected through the internet. And so yeah, you can be really, really popular in Belgium. And if somebody had said to you, okay, so you're going to sell your books, you'd like naturally assume you'd be most popular in the States.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
like, yeah, you've got this massive following in Belgium.
yeah, that in Canada and Australia. And the Australian one I didn't know about organically, but somebody just like bought the book, and then in the forward, it says, "Hey, thanks, these people, blah blah blah, whatever." And one of those people is a guy named fucking Parker, and Parker was one of my Marine Corps buddies, and he was on a different deployment down to hang out, do some training with the Australians. And so Guy picks up this book and goes, "Hey, Parker, why is your name in this fucking book?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I was there when he wrote it, so he said thank you." And he's like, "Oh, small world." It's like that traveled back to me. Oh, thank Australia.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
That's
I love moments like that.
Yeah, I mean, because like I mean, you know what that's like though. I've seen some of your shit where it's like, you know, you're doing the interviews with the audience afterwards. Somebody's like, "I came all the way from
Finland."
Yeah.
Yeah. I got it's really nice that people sort of hop on a plane, and I do mean hop, because what's really weird is that it's kind of easier in some ways, because we are all so close to each other.
Yeah.
And even like a Polish lady I was talking to, she said, "No offense to you, because I know you live on an island." I was like, "Yes." And she said, "But I'd feel very claustrophobic if I lived where you live." She said, I need to be like connected to the rest of Europe, so I know the continent continues. She's like, I don't, she said, when I come to visit you, like, it's nice, but I need to go back to the mainland. And I was like, fair enough. But getting on a plane and jumping to different places, like, it actually kind of takes me less time to get to somewhere like Poland than like sometimes even going through London. The traffic is so bad.
We got a joke about Houston here. A couple different cities. Wonder if you guys have it too, where it's like, say Houston is a 2-hour drive away from Houston.
What?
I mean, it's mostly because of, you know, construction and traffic, but you know,
right? Okay, yeah.
You want to drive from Houston to Houston? That's a 2-hour commitment.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah.
And I don't know if I agree with that lady with Poland, but like I definitely felt something similar in Japan, like where you know it's like, all right, I'm here, I can't see the horizon, I don't know that I'm on an island except for someone told me I know that I'm on an island, but it's like I wouldn't buy a car here because I can only drive 10 miles that way. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, still, you want to walk that 10 miles every day? Come on, man.
Well, I mean, we don't have like buses and subways and shit here. So you go over there and they have that, and it's like, well, I could just get on the bus.
No, that's fair enough. We have a very lopsided transport system here in the UK. We really do. Like in London, we have an excessive amount of transport systems, and a lot of them fail to work. So you have to sort of, it's like you've got a map and you know where you've got to get to, and there's multiple ways you could get there. And it's like, you know, it's like when you're in a temple and the pillar falls down one way, so you've got to go the other way, and then there's a snake pit and you have to jump over the snake pit. That's basically trying to get through from one place to the next in London on public transport. Snake pits, pillars, spears coming out of the door. Yeah.
There's like 2 more things you got to add to that.
Yeah,
and well, I mean, because the other day, fucking me and the wife, we watched all the Indiana Jones movies because I was like, I want to watch a movie with I kind of want to watch something with, you know, ancient treasure. I also kind of want to watch something with Nazis in it. Indiana Jones,
right?
So,
yeah. I think that's the only one. That's the only one I can think of actually that's got Nazis in it.
No, I mean, because like the Mummy didn't have Nazis.
No, I was thinking of Brendan Fraser's film, and I thought, no.
Yeah.
So what you were watching that? So obviously I missed the boulder.
That could be the bus. It's running in front of it.
I did a funny advert where Maersk Shipping, which is available on YouTube, where I end up in this temple with spears that fly at my face. It was really cool to film, but really, like, I had to crawl through this kind of fake tunnel. And can I tell you?
And the lighting was like blue?
Yeah, there was well, first of all, I'm like in this tunnel with a torch, and when I get into the temple, it's a red light, so I fire a flare, Yeah, I have the blue thing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have this blue gem.
Yeah, no, that came up in my ads, and I was like, "Oh, awesome! Hey, cool." Well, actually, at first I was like, "Oh, fucking ads, goddamn!" I was like, "Oh, that's Diane. Oh, neat." Hold on, I'm gonna go to Google. Yeah, I can't buy that here, but I mean, it's cool. They're showing it to me. You're wasting money giving it to me, but all right, neat.
Well, it's shipping, so
Oh,
it's
no. Oh,
about
okay.
you trying to ship your books.
Oh, I thought it was a bank when I saw it, but
No, 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 no. It's all about shipping and logistics. So that's why they were kind of like,
no, that makes a lot more sense then. I should probably not be drunk when I go on social media.
well, I mean, that just cuts down your social media time. When are you going to do it now?
Yep.
But that was fun. It was fun crawling through a tunnel. Mercon of series is still going on. He's told us about it's £2,000 of platinum every 10 years.
So speaking of aliens and outer space shit, I might be remembering this wrong, but for some reason I remember you getting abducted by aliens in a KFC commercial.
I never got abducted by aliens. I did have a KFC commercial where a lady, my car breaks down. And I lift up the bonnet, and there is a lady in a glamorous evening dress dancing and singing at me, telling me, "Don't worry about your car, go have a KFC." And then I sit in the car eating my bucket of chicken.
Did you get your car fixed?
Yeah, a guy turns up apparently halfway through the advert. Yeah.
All right.
It's hard to remember. We kind of filmed it at like, silly o'clock in the morning, like 4 o'clock in the morning, because obviously you need to find like, it needs to be dark. When you do an advert several times from several different angles. So you need a large amount of time to do it. And they were filming it outside. If we had done it in a studio, we would have been able to do it at any time. But instead, I'm literally in a car park at 4 o'clock in the morning eating KFC.
Okay, so I have been alone in a car at 4 o'clock in the morning eating KFC, but half those stories were so heroic that you wouldn't believe me, and the other half are so fucking depressing that we're not going to bring them up.
Okay,
the roads that lead there.
That's okay. That's okay. I think you have to be. See, I think that's good because some people. Did you watch Baby Reindeer?
It is on my list, but I haven't seen it yet.
Now, you see, I was at the Fringe Festival when Baby Reindeer was a Fringe show. So it was like what I do. It's like an hour-long stand-up show, right? And it was interesting because he had a lot of buzz around that show. And somebody from one of the venues said to me, "Oh, have you seen his show yet?" But that's how they told me, like this, like the hand over the heart. They went, "Have you seen it?" And I went, "No, but everybody's like saying it's amazing."
Why are they talking about me in it?
Well, no, because my friend went, "Well, it is like an incredible show, but I wouldn't call it comedy." And I thought that was really interesting because I've spoken to a lot of people who have said, "Oh, yeah, it's an incredible story, but why was it in the comedy section of the brochure?" And what happened briefly for a period, I don't know if it's still happening there, is that instead of people being funny, they were trauma dumping. But just because they were comedians, they seemed to think they belonged in the comedy part of the brochure. Whereas you, very astutely, have just made a very quick editorial decision and said, "No, my stories about eating KFC are either incredibly outlandish or far too depressing. I'm not going to burden the listener with them." And I think that's a good move.
Yeah, I guess. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. But it's a good move because, like, have you not seen this kind of this weird trauma dumping where it doesn't belong?
Yeah, there is that, and I kind of stopped watching like say like Netflix comedy specials because it ends up being a political rant instead of something that is funny.
Yeah.
Or like my ex-girlfriend is an asshole, or my ex-boyfriend is Actually, my dad. Actually, no. If my ex-boyfriend was my dad, was a fucking comedy thing, I'd watch the fuck out of that just because I'd have to know what kind of freakish bullshit was happening. But I mean, like for the most part, like you know how like a lot of the bigger guys now, or at least maybe this is just what I see, is like, all right, I'm gonna get up here because I have a political statement to make. It's like, yeah, but that's not comedy. That's a political rant. And a political rant's okay.
Yeah,
it's funny, but also like. And I guess you would know this a little bit more than I would. But for me anyway, like, there has been like political humor I thought was funny, and then I'd see it 5 or 10 years later, and it's like, oh yeah, that's not funny. Watching that 10 years later, it's not doesn't have replay value.
yeah. Topical humor, very quickly it burns out because it relies on the heat of the moment.
Yeah.
And that's why sort of topical comedians, they go through so much material so quickly. It's really impressive. But on the other hand, you're right. There's not much of a rewatch value. So it's something that I guess you got to be wary of. Like I'm listening to an audiobook right now, and the woman said that she originally wrote it before she really took off with her publisher.
Okay.
And she sort of found it, and she said, I wrote it in the 90s. And she said, I have read it and I've decided not to update anything and just release it as it is. And please appreciate it as a piece of its time.
Right.
And initially I thought, I was quite intrigued. I thought, well, how can a book from the 90s that is about a woman who is in a car accident and can see auras, and then and then there's a serial killer on the loose. Like, how is that?
All right.
Yeah.
What's this book called?
It's called an aura of mystery. I think. Yeah. It's by Joy Ellis. An aura of mystery.
Okay.
And yeah, and I thought, how can it be? I'm sure it's not that bad, but it's weird. It's not because it's political, but it's because there's tiny little things that beautifully do date it. Even like down to the car the woman's driving, even down to just the occasional like Walkman or disc, just but it's not always the technology. Yeah, and so, but yeah, when you've got like a topical comedian, as soon as that politician isn't in the news, they got to pretty much ditch everything. Like, I'm quite lucky right now. Our deputy prime minister, I think she is a redhead, and we do look quite similar.
Okay.
And she talks like this though. She's got quite a she's northern, and she's got a little lisp. And occasionally I've gone on stage and I've pretended to be her stunt double. And people like it when I go and I go, hello, people of Britain and Tory scum, which is I suppose the American equivalent would be Republican scum.
Yeah, no, like my knowledge on British politics is like you got the Labour guys and then the Tory guys, and these guys are kind of like Democrats, and these guys are kind of like Republicans, except for not really, because they live on an island and they don't have guns.
You nailed it.
Okay,
you
all right.
Absolutely nailed it. Yeah. And then we've got the ridiculous liberal Democrats and everybody else. So yeah, but our Republican Party has just been smashed to bits.
Yeah, I think I saw a thing on God, YouTube was fucking talking about it. I don't know where the fuck I was going with that. I remember somebody was making a big deal out of it because you guys held the election on July 4th, and all the American comedians were like, no, you can wait fucking 18 fucking hours. That's our holiday, motherfucker.
I know, it was so weird. Yeah. But everything about that was weird. Nothing about that made sense. And there's definitely there was definitely something happening that shouldn't have been happening. For a start, the Prime Minister didn't seem to tell anybody in his close cabinet that he was about to call an election. Secondly, he literally seemed to run out into the street when it was raining and announce this general election in the pissing pouring rain. Like, it was like somebody had just rung him up and said, if you don't call this general election in the next 5 minutes, you know, it was like somebody had threatened him. It looked so weird. It was strange. Yeah.
I saw that bit. But I don't know. It's kind of weird looking at other people's fucking political systems and be like, oh yeah, that's weird considering what's going on in my country, where I don't know what part of our shit the news shows y'all, but it's like one day we're like, hey man, wouldn't it be nice if like Lee Harvey Oswald got reincarnated? Oh fuck no. Okay, turns out that's not a. Oh, wait. The CIA probably actually did that, and like there's people that got proof for it. Oh, okay, so that's going to be a big. Oh, we're just going to forget about that. Okay, all right, okay, so oh, this is like the first election in what 30 fucking years. There's a viable third party candidate, and worm ate part of his brain. Huh. All right, okay.
We do get a BBC. We get whatever the news channel, we get their angles and their edits. So it's very much like yours.
Yeah.
Obviously we get a load of stuff on Twitter. So we had your stuff happening in the same time. Like, oh my God, the Trump shooting was all over our media to the point where I just turned to Kev and I said, has anything happened in our country today? Like sometimes I'm like, can we have our news now, please? We get a lot of your news. And what sometimes worries me is when we get so much of your news, I think that means that something's happening and nobody's telling us.
Yeah, what the fuck is Parliament doing right now?
Yeah. What are our lot doing that you're trying to distract us with? Oh, look, Biden fell up some stairs again.
Oh yeah, but you can't bring that up, and if you do, you're a conspiracy theorist, unless you don't bring it up for like a year, in which case the thing that you were a conspiracy theorist about like is just the thing in the news. But I think the bigger problem is not so much that what everybody's fucking political fucking party wants to do, as much as it boils down to I am good and smart, so the person I am voting for is good and smart. And if the person that I am voting for is good and smart, that means the person running against them must be stupid and evil. And since you're voting for that other person, you, I guess, are also stupid and evil. So fuck you. And like that's political rhetoric. Hooray.
Here in the UK, it's more like, oh no, that one? Ugh. Oh no, that one? Ugh. Oh no. I guess that's what it was like in the UK for the last election. I guess. I mean,
yeah, but you guys are also like running the risk of someone saying fuck it and like digging up fucking Queen Elizabeth and like Frankensteining her back together. I mean, all right, listen, we're going back to a strict monarchy. She's the queen. Fuck you. And then you can fight about it, but then you got to fight Frankenstein Queen Elizabeth, and nobody wants that.
No, we would just let her. We'd just be like, welcome back, Mom. Welcome back. We've got the tea on. We'll fetch the corgi. Robot corgis. We'll fetch the robot corgis.
Oh, God, no, they're killer robot corgis. Run!
Oh, my God. I'd love to see a corgi next to a wolf. That would just look weird.
Well, I mean, corgis, these little fun balls of fur, and they're like this big, and they got huge butts. And I know you're not supposed to look at dog butts, but when they run around, they go like this, and it's like, dog butt.
How's your little dog?
They're doing good. One of them's passed out on the couch over there. Skelly, she's a chow chow. She looks like a fox, kind of, because she's got like the sideburns that come out, and she's red. Cute. And then Mulder is upstairs, hopefully lying down. I don't hear him running around, so he should be doing good. But it's funny because they get mad at stuff and bark. And again, probably shouldn't be looking at dogs' butts, but when they bark, their butthole does this. And I thought that was like a weird thing, and then I googled it, and there's just like hours and hours of YouTube videos of people laughing at their dogs because when they bark, they're apparently just all dogs' butts do this when they bark.
Oh no. I could have gone my whole life without knowing that. No. I've got a very visual mind trip.
I'm sorry, Diane. It was either that or we go over the birds and the dogs. The foxes? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I just remember last time we talked and like, I was off and you went off about foxes. Like my algorithm apparently decided I need to know everything about foxes. Do you remember a song from like 10 years ago? What does the fox say?
That's one of the best songs. I really like that song.
All right. As long as we're on the same page.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I really should get that on my iPod. I have an iPod that is basically a museum piece, and I think I need to put that song on it.
With the wheel?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I'm not sure where it is, but I honestly, like, I when I went through an airport recently, the guy went, "Wow." I went, "Yeah, it's my iPod." He went, "Does it work?" I went, "Yeah."
We got one of those hooked up to the speakers upstairs. It's Mallory's old one, but it's all music. Like she hasn't updated it in 20 years, so it's all music from like the mid 2000s, and half of it's like I just look at her while we're doing this. She's like, "This is my brother's music. Don't judge me." I'm like, "I'm judging you." Oh, it's a little mini.
Yeah, so and it works absolutely perfectly well, and and I like to sort of put podcasts on it. So it's a happy little thing, still working. So we have a lovely time in the car. Yeah, it very much.
They did a great job on that. I'm surprised like the software is still fucking is compatible.
I can still update it. Like I'm constantly updating the software.
Huh.
Yeah, I know, right? Because I thought that Apple sort of built it in so that everything dies like after like 6 months. So you have to buy a new one. But no, like I think I've literally had that 20 years and it still works.
Yeah. Fucking two things on that. First one, I had a phone that was an iPhone that was 10 years old, and the only reason I got a new one was because it updated, and then none of the apps worked anymore because they weren't compatible with the hardware. I was like, "Fuck you, Apple!" But also on that, fucking one of my favorite things to do to my wife now is something will come up and like, "Oh, hey, remember thing X?" And she's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That was 25 years ago." And she'd be like, "Fuck you." Because she's 23 with a few years of experience. She's been 23 for 15 years. Huh?
23 with a few years experience?
I mean, it depends on who you ask. If you ask me, she's almost 40, but if you ask her, she's been 23 for 15 years.
Oh, my mom did that.
Yeah.
My mom told us that she was 39 for about 10 years. And it was only when one of her friends came round. And I must have been quite young because I was a bit rude. I said, "How old are you?" So polite, Diane. Yeah. And she said, "Oh, I'm a year younger than your mum." And I went, "Oh, so you're 38." And she just looked at me and tried not to laugh. And I thought, well, that's not right. So my mom was 39 for many years. And even now, she is 59.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I see.
Yeah. So it's funny because
be reminded of the passage of time.
Say what?
Mallory does not like to be reminded of the passage of time.
No, but it'll be funny because like we want because it's in the kitchen, so like that's the music device for if we're doing dishes or cooking dinner or something, and it's like, all right, we're making mashed potatoes, and like Limp Bizkit comes on, and like, hey, you remember when Limp Bizkit comes out? And she'd be like, yeah, I was in middle school like 5 years ago. I'm like, oh, you old bitch. She's like, fuck you. It's fun.
Wow, Limp Bizkit. Yeah, that does take me back a bit. I must admit, when I go through like periods of seeking out new music, and it's usually when I'm writing. It's like I'm it's like I suddenly become a bit open to everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kev has that phrase, you know, you fill the tank. You got to be creative. You got to find new things to help kind of swirl it all around in your brain so that you can make something creative out of it. But then I'll go through a stagnant period where I'm like, oh no, I'm listening to my new tunes, and my new tunes are 2018, and I forget that it's now like 6 years on.
Yeah. See, I got, well, two things. Remind me of polishing turds and getting the creativity out, because I got a thing for that one.
Okay, polishing
turds. But going back to the music thing, like I don't want to say like disliked new music, but like I kind of figured out what new music I liked a long time ago, and I try to keep up with the genre as it goes. But I have, every time I go through one of those, I find like old shit. Like it was like 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, I need some new music. I need to go find some. Oh, Depeche Mode. Never listened to them before. Oh, all right. Yeah, I get down with that. So it's like, yeah, I get new music, but the new music isn't exactly new.
It's new to you.
Yeah. Yes.
Polished turd.
Oh, yeah. So going on the creativity thing, this is the advice I give people who come to me for writing advice. I'm sure you get this. Like half the people that like are in, I don't know about you, but half the people in my inbox are, hey man, I'm trying to write, can you give me some advice? Or hey, I read your stuff and you know what you should do. Okay, see, that tells me that like there's a chord being struck there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So what is your response to these people?
Well, the you should people I leave unread, but the people that are looking for advice, it's like, well, I mean, all right, here's my spiel, man. Fucking, if you're trying to write something, don't think that you're just gonna sit down and like splat out, like a polished final product. My suggestion for you would be, if you want to write something, you want to create something, just get a notebook, either a legal pad or a spiral book, and a pen or a pencil, or whatever you want to write with, or hell, maybe even a Word document, and just like take a big brain shit onto the paper, just fucking dump it all out. And don't worry about making it good. Yeah, but you cannot polish a turd until you take a big shit.
Until you've got the turd.
Yeah. I'm not sure how the fuck we got here from Limp Bizkit, but yes.
We yeah, the thing about being a comic is that it's very rare. People won't ask you necessarily how you write unless that is a very rare question, really. I mean, it's a rare question for me. I'm sure it's not a rare question for other people. I'm sure other people get asked that all the time. However, what tends to happen is that the fledgling comic, and I'm going to make a very broad generalization here.
Yes, we're not talking about you, Bob.
Fledgling, there is a section of fledgling comics who already believe that what they produce is gold. And they already believe that they're, just undiscovered, right? Yeah. And you think, okay, well, it's great that you've got that confidence.
And also, like anything else, you do kind of have to be around for 10 years before anybody gives a shit who you are. So, but like, good on you for showing up day one.
Yeah. Hey, day one done, right? Yeah. But when it comes to the you should, because we get that very instantaneously, and sometimes you can get it in the middle of your show. If somebody decides to call out, and it's kind of a form of you should, because they won't necessarily it's rare that a heckle starts with you should,
right?
But you do get that after shows. You'll get people come up to you, and first of all, they'll pay you a compliment, and you can accept it graciously, but you try not to tense because you think, I sense something. You sense it. You always sense it.
Like, hey, that was a really funny set, except for, that joke you made about dog butts? You know what you should do with that?
You should, yeah. And then you know it's coming. But weirdly, quite often, sometimes I will listen to the you should, and I will think, right, is there any kind of valid point in there? Because very rarely somebody will say something you think there could be something in that. I will have a look at that. I'll explore that mentally. Have you ever had that with, oh my God, my Fitbit just told me I've done 10,000 steps. That's good.
Well, hooray for the Fitbit. Is that your daily goal, 10,000 steps?
No, it just likes to celebrate 10,000 steps. Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know. They're all talking to each other. They leave me out of the conversation most of the time.
So sometimes, however, 99% of the time when I look into it, the thing that I should do is pull their little nugget of cornly wisdom out of the turd while I'm polishing it. And it was like, oh, neat. Thanks for pointing out that kernel. Yes, I should eat more fiber. Got it. But while we're on that, Rasan of series, the news is fake and gay. I can tolerate gay, but not fake. Yes. And Justin A. glad I finally got to catch one of your live streams. Did not expect to hear you guys casually chatting about dog butts. Yeah. It's corgi's butts or the bee's knees, straight up butt cleavage. Yeah. Yeah. Although fucking like there's I guess a difference with I don't want to say style of writing, but like we do, like we're both writers, but like we have completely different shits. Like you could have an idea that of something
completely different shits.
Yeah, why not? I mean, I don't know what the fuck we're talking about right now. Listen, these things are fucking great. It's straight malt liquor. It's like 11.1 alcohol by volume. I'm
not drinking. I'm not drinking.
Are you just loopy then?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm sorry about the jet lag. Like I wasn't gonna drink too much, and I was like, oh okay, all right. She took something tonight. Okay, got it. Sorry.
So let's talk about the different turds that we're both making.
Oh yeah. But like you can have an idea, and then like an hour later, throw it out on stage and see if it works or not. With what I'm doing, it's like, all right, this is a good idea. This joke's really gonna land in 3 years when I publish this book.
Oh, come on. It doesn't take you 3 years. Does it take you? What is the longest that one of your books took you?
The first two, but I also wrote them at the same time. Like back to back on the USS Bonhomme Richard, which fucking, God rest her soul, she fucking burned down in port a couple years ago. But god damn, fuck, what was I talking about?
Thing you were doing at the same time when you were
I was doing other things. But with that, I was trying to get those published quote unquote the right way. And this is fucking 10 years ago now, and this is before like indie publishing was a big thing. So like the right way was get an agent, the agent gets you to a publisher gets you to a publishing house, XYZ, whatever. And I didn't know that the only way to really do that is to have gone to college with someone who's already in that community, or you have a family member that does it. And like nepotism is that route for traditional publishing traditionally literature is a nepotism thing, but more and more with like say like Amazon or Kobo or whatever the fuck it is. What used to be like self-publishing used to be that like dirty thing that weird dudes did in their garage. Just like, yeah, listen, maybe you shouldn't have freedom of speech because that's fucking weird. And that's slowly, morphed into, okay, this is the real thing. And everyone that's publishing traditionally, like, they're selling you something instead of telling you a story. So, I mean, it's been fun on the thing, but I want to say the first two books, between me writing it down and it being available to read, was probably 3 years.
Hey, that's good. That's actually quite swift. I would say, I mean, I've never written a book,
Yeah.
but it was 3 years from when I did my first gig to when I did my first solo show. So I understand that kind of time period.
Yeah.
Yeah, of like collecting the material.
Yeah. And you know, it shrinks as you go, kind of, because like you get more confident at it, you know what you're doing, you know when to turn left or turn to right. And I want to say, like, now when stuff takes a while for it to come out, like, I want to say, like, what is it? I had a book that came out in January and February and March of this year, but I wrote all those 2 years before that and was trying to, like, make sure all the dots were crossed and, like, the lowercase j's were dotted right and all that. And I wrote those with the intention of back to back to back publishing, instead of I'm going to write and then do this one and then give it 2 years and then write and do this one and then.
I mean, that is really it's really impressive, because you know, the prolific nature of it is absolutely incredible. You must have like some kind of Shakespeare gene or something, where you're like, he's like there like churning out all these sonnets and plays, and you're like doing these novels. It's pretty cool. But
well, I mean, if you look at Shakespeare, it was all a bunch of dick and fucking fart jokes. And you've voiced characters in my books. You know it's something but dick and fart jokes. So yes.
There's definitely, I think you definitely have a Shakespeare gene in you somewhere. Yeah.
But speaking of your old stuff, I went down to Nashville a couple months ago to go see a band in concert, and Nashville's about a 12-hour drive away from me, and it was the night of the concert, and we were hanging out at the house before we went, and the concert ended up being fucking awesome because there was 2 tornado touchdowns, there was baseball size hail, massive flooding and shit. So no one went to the show. Like, there was like 200 fucking people at this fucking stadium. So we're like, there wasn't a second row. We're like, fuck yeah. But before we went, while we were at the house pre-gaming, fucking, we were doing the thing where it's like you pass around the fucking, you know, I don't know, remote control, and just like put on a song on YouTube or whatever. And then, like, well, no one was paying attention, I put on I think it was Charming Wit and Filth, or All Pervading Madness, the one where you're talking about the tusk.
Yeah.
And it was funny because, you know, it kind of went on as background noise, as you know it kind of does at parties, and every once in a while, like, and then back to the conversation, and it was like,
oh my god, that's funny.
I don't know how many stuck to it, but you do have at least 10 new subscribers that are actually just me at people's houses going onto their PlayStation.
I appreciate that. That's really cool. You're like this is the character Johnny Appleseed. You're like Johnny Subscriber Guy. You're just going around giving YouTube subscribers to people.
Yeah.
Going back to what you were saying about the publishing, and the self-publishing, it's quite, because I find that I'm into I'm quite into astrology, and some of the books that I read for that, all self-publishing, and because it's niche, and I think that there's always been, you know, this kind of swell of people that haven't quite broken into the mainstream, but they want to get their message out, and they want to get their, you know, their hobbies and their topics out. So I've got quite a lot of quite crazy books that are all self-published. I'm looking down like this because they've even got one down there right now, like on the floor, because I had to clear a load of shit off the desk so I could put a light up. But like, yeah, so I think self-publishing can be really, really, really great. Yeah,
and like,
it's the corner.
Yeah, and then like the other thing was like that's kind of like shifted from being the side road to being the main road.
Yeah.
Like, where it's like you have, like, nowadays you kind of have to self-publish for a while before someone else is like, oh, you can hold your own, we'll come pick you up. Kind of like fucking with comedians, because like I got to do clubs and shit forever until somebody's like, I need to give you a Netflix special or put you on HBO or fucking, you know, whatever.
Yeah, but and that's the thing. You have a track record now. And do you know what? That is something that's interesting, because when people say to me, "Oh, how can I be a comedian?" Like, because I do get that question.
Yeah.
I say you just have to start. You literally just have to start. And that will answer a lot of your questions straight away, because they come to you with like a million questions. Like, so how do I get booked? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do the other? And you're like, guy, have you written any jokes yet? I'd start there. It's like, start with the jokes, see how many jokes you can write, see if you can do 6 minutes at a local club.
Yeah. And the thing is like fucking like some other people will be like, well, aren't you afraid of competition? And it's like, why? No one's going to take my advice. I can talk to them until I'm blue in the face. They're not going to do it. They're just curious and want to talk.
But also equally, you will give advice to somebody, but it's like, but they might not follow the advice the way you gave it to them.
Yeah.
Because like you might, you'll sort of, it's the same way people read a book. You say, oh, there is an apple in a basket on a table. We are now all imagining completely different apples in completely different baskets on completely different tables. Like, does your table have a tablecloth?
No, but I have a buddy named Dylan who makes fucking awesome apple pies out of an apple called Winter Banana. And Winter Banana is an apple.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I mean, you had me at apple pie. I must admit, as soon as you said apple pie, I was like, that sounds nice.
Well, you brought it up. No, it doesn't have a tablecloth because I drank a little bit too much and may have puked on the kitchen table, and I slept under the tablecloth. That's I don't know. I was trying to go somewhere with that. I haven't done that in a minute.
You drunk too much?
No. Well, I mean, that's another thing though. Question for you on this. And maybe not direct question, but here's something that I've gone through, and I want to know if your experience is similar. Where it's like, because people have read my books and what's in my books, they assume that my daily schedule is wake up, run 20 miles, smoke 1,000 cigarettes, drink every ounce of liquor that was ever made on the planet, and then at like 9 o'clock in the morning, after I've been up for 2 hours, eat all the eggs and then start my day.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear you. So
yeah,
you're saying that's not your schedule. That's not.
I'm wondering if you get people that come up with, hey, so I just watched whatever fucking thing. Do you still have that urinary infection thing, or are you still a disappointment to whoever? It's like that was
yeah. So well, it's weird because people will bring up bits of shows that they're triggering a memory for me, which is so old. The question I get asked the most: have you still got the dead guy in the front room? That's from one of my shows. Yeah.
Okay, I know, and I have a joke to make after this, but tell them if for those who haven't watched your stuff.
Well, so when we first moved in, there was this weird smell in the lounge, and one day my husband went in there with a Stanley knife when we just moved in and the house was a wreck, and he just starts cutting up the carpet, but I can't even, like, I can't tell the stand-up version of the story anymore because it's been so long since I've done the show. I have to just tell you the real story, which is where he just starts cutting up the carpet, and he took the carpet out, and there's a stain on the floor because the carpet was under a rug, and it was the profile of the previous owner, because he died on the floor. He'd rotted into the carpet, and clearly, like, his intestines had sadly exploded into the carpet. And
because he was there for a minute.
What?
Because he was there for a minute.
Oh yeah, just a minute, okay, just enough so that he swelled up from all the gases. and we were smelling him, like, and I didn't realize what that smell was. Now I know what the smell of a rotting dead body is, especially when it's in your carpet. And I didn't know that's what it was. Like,
also, side note, there is a fucking an old guy joke in there somewhere.
what? So
there's an old dead dude in your carpet.
So
anyway,
so that's the question I get asked the most, is people going, "You still got like I wouldn't put in a new carpet, like I wouldn't bleach the floorboards, like it'd be like, oh well, I guess there's a dead guy in my house. I guess I better won't decorate. Like what?" So yeah, sometimes people also think that I'm some kind of rabid, like just gross sexual animal, just like if I shake my head too much, like jizz is gonna fly out of my face.
I was gonna go down the do you ever hang out with the old guy who died in your floor because you got a Ouija board and you're bored and you're like, hey, are you still hanging out?
How are you?
Yeah.
And he's like, get out my house.
Yeah.
Stop fucking with my garden.
Yeah. No, but I also get you on the fucking jizz stain thing, because people are like, hey, so what's up with you and the strippers? And it's like, I've been married for a minute. They were nice 20 years. Oh fuck. God damn it, Limp Biscuit.
Soggy Biscuit.
Listen, the Marine Corps is in the Department of the Navy, and I am not a homosexual, but I will out gay anyone in a contest of gay, whatever. But
you're more competitive than you are committed to your heterosexuality.
Yeah, it's not a gay thing; it's a winning the contest thing.
It's a winning thing. I get that. Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah.
You have a comment about publishing Ingram Spark.
Oh, Ingram Spark is a big self-publisher. The YouTuber Jill Bayrup used them for the novel Just Stab Me Now. Yeah, Ingram Spark is another thing. It's very similar to the Kindle fucking self-publishing thing. I don't know, but yeah, no, I get you on the Jizz Attack Dog. Mostly because the one that comes to mind is you had a joke in one of your specials. I think you were still in New Zealand at the time, where you were talking about getting a spot in a commercial for a yogurt, but you pronounced correctly. And then you went on to talk about, like, I'm guessing a hypothetical situation where you blow a dude and like keep his cum in your mouth, and then like you got to spit it on a rabbit to keep its fur shiny.
There's something that's a very old memory. I don't think I'm pretty sure I didn't spit on a rabbit.
Right. But like the point was you had a joke about it, but that doesn't mean you did it.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're just like cartwheeling down the street, like just, fucking like having dudes slingshot dicks at you the whole time.
Well, you know what, like I think that that's the thing you do, because people will take, like, you put it out there, and then people will take things, remember things, and they'll decide, right, I have built this picture in my head from the evidence I have been given, and that's fair enough. And so sometimes you do have to just sort of deal with that on the chin, literally take it in the face, take a hot load in the face, because people are just like, yeah, what, jizz and sex and you're like, yeah, okay, well, we were just
okay. So on that though, I have a confession to make about that. So you had that joke about how somebody made that comment. I bet she could take a hot load to the chin or something on one of your videos.
Yeah. They write
that there'd be some porn star somewhere that's just doing this fucking scene, and somebody goes lol. I only made an account on Pornhub so that I could say lol in the comment section, and it was because of that joke. And I don't know if anyone ever got it, and I don't care if they did or not. But I was like, You know what? You know what would be a really good idea? LOL. Enter.
That's great. That's great. That would just be lovely. I mean, do you know what? I think that from what little I know of the people who work in the adult industry, I don't think they'd mind the occasional lol underneath their videos. Why not? They do. They get a lot of sort of weird, creepy comments like, "Oh, you're so beautiful, and you're clearly a very intelligent person." You know, while they're like sitting on a cake, and you think you don't need to groom this person. This person is already doing the sex act. You know, like
also they're gonna come to my house and fuck me because of this comment. I'm gonna leave.
Actually, you're right. Yeah, that's what's going on. It's wondrous cringe. Yeah, no.
Yeah, crusty. Yeah. I mean, it's funny though because you do get some jokes out of it, like why did the sperm cross the road?
Why?
Because I put on the wrong socks this morning.
That's great.
Yeah,
I love that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, no, but as the I know we've bemoaned the term creative type before, but like as the creative type, like yeah, the comment section is half. The fuck are you talking about? And like, oh, that'd be a really good point if I were an idiot. But thanks for commenting, guys. I shouldn't say that. I love all of you that are watching this. John and Phoenix and Austin and Merson.
No, I like to watch reaction channels on YouTube. Like I'm interested in this community called Goral. What I can't even say it. Goral World, and it's a lot about reacting and how you interact with people and what's fair, what isn't fair. And it's a very interesting community, and the comments are just incredible. Like the way that people interact with each other, it's absolutely astounding. And there's a creator that absolutely just whines all the time that everybody misunderstands her, and it's like, no, you've got to just accept once you've put something out there, whether you're putting out a video, a book, a stand-up special, a joke, you have to release it. It's not up to you how people interpret what you've put out there. You can hope they interpret it the way you want them to.
Yeah. I've and that goes a few ways, but with what you're saying, what I guess we were saying with I'm not a malicious pervert. I just wrote a sex scene, which by the way are always awkward as fuck to fucking edit. Because like
the audio sex scene.
Yeah. Because like when you're writing them, you're like, yeah, fuck yeah. But then like when I'm doing the audio fucking, and I'm in the middle of doing one right now, with the fourth book that Diane shows up in. No spoilers, people at home, but the fourth book has the most sex scenes, and they're all the grossest. And when I say the grossest, I mean the grossest. Also, people at home, little bit of a spoiler. But like, you know, you go back to the first one and, you know, Hank and Penelope were drunk and they ended up puking on each other. And the fourth one, there's one, except for one of the dudes is drunk and hungover and like not puking on her, but like, I don't need to puke. And the chick has strep throat. And bad shit happens. But anyway, sitting there editing it, and you've done a little bit of audio visual editing, and there's a lot of listening to the same 5 seconds over and over again for fucking 10 minutes, and it's like there's this like whole what is the thing, like the stages of grief, except for like with how I'm dealing with this, like, oh yeah, this is gross, oh this is funny, this is gross, why did I write this, you know, I bet my gun actually does taste good, no, this is funny.
I think that's great. The 5 stages of editing. Yeah, definitely. Just, you always hit that point though, don't you? Where you go, what is this? What am I doing? Why did I write it? Shouldn't I be outside? Aren't I supposed to be outside? Like eating?
You know, I said something like this on Twitter and everyone told me to go touch grass. I should probably be outside touching grass right now.
Fuck the grass. Let's kill the grass. Edit this shit. Yeah. I think it's really epic what you've done, and I'm really excited that the 4th book is coming out. I just think it's so cool because not only have you like brought this whole universe to life, but you're now creating this universe again in like audio format, which is just so exciting. And yeah, it's just great. So anybody watching, if you haven't already started listening, where can they listen?
Fucking everywhere, man. Yeah, no. I think right now, fucking the first 3 books are on Audible. And I release a chapter a week on YouTube, and then put them on Patreon as I go. And on Patreon, I think I'm on chapter 15 of the 4th book. And for those of you that are at home thinking, oh, well, book 3 was 17 chapters long, so he's almost done with book 4. I've just started with book 4 because book 4 is 40 fucking chapters long. It's the longest, and it's got the most dialogue in it, and there's the most bullshit going on in it, and which I think is one of the funny things now, because like you and I right now in fucking the year of our Lord fucking August of 2024, we're promoting the 3rd book being done, but like voice work wise, the 4th book's already fucking done. I'm just in the editing post phase of it, because you got me your characters what, 3 months ago. I mean, it's been a minute, yeah, something like that. So, but yeah,
April.
Yeah. It's been a minute, and but the first chapter of that is coming Wednesday, so that's 4 or 5 days ago now, and the fucking adventure will continue. And for those of you that want to listen to our fucking beautiful voices, you can. It's going to be on YouTube and Patreon for a while before it hits Audible, because I don't think I'm going to get done with it by the end of the year just because of the length. However, in the more intermediate future, if you happen to live in the United Kingdom, Diane's on tour right now.
I am, yeah. I'm doing my 10th show because if we've never met before, hello. I've been voicing Penelope in the first 3 books. Yeah, I'm a stand-up comedian. I've got a YouTube channel. If you put in Diane Spencer, there, it's written down there. And I'm really excited, actually. Yeah, I've got this tour. It's mainly sort of, now that I've done the first couple of dates, it's mainly sort of around the London area, I'll be honest. It's like Guildford. Where am I going? Guildford, Bethnal Green.
Well, I know for a fact that I have some Londoners that listen to this, so.
Yeah? Oh, my God. Come to my filming on the 15th of September in Bethnal Green at the Backyard Comedy Club. Yeah, I would love it if you came and just, yeah, come and check me out. I mean, so I'll tell you, it's Guildford, Brighton, South Norwood, Carshalton, and Surbiton. So those are all the places that we've got left. And some of those I'm doing with my friend Sarah, and she is a tarot card reader. And we do 2 shows in one night. So she does her show. We have a little break. I do my show. And my stand-up is delightfully saucy, and there is some kind of plot in it, and it's autobiographical. I did do a preview. I did do a show last night, and it was lovely because a man who has watched all of my shows came up to me, and we had a lovely chat. And then he came up to me at the end of the show, and he said, "That was great. I think the sucking cock stuff was a bit much for some people." And I thought, it's a shame he's not a reviewer. I'd put that on a poster.
Oh, God, dude, no, like, does this ever happen to you? I know we're wrapping up, but like, do people ever email you about stuff they hated about your show? And it's like, motherfucker, write that on Amazon, because that fucking would sell. Like, give it 1 star. I don't give a fuck. People are going to read that and buy this.
You are 100% right. I mean, I get it all over my YouTube channel. Like, I get, oh God, like my most watched clip, British Married Handjob. The amount of people who write underneath it, should have used your mouth, should have used your mouth, should have used your mouth. I'm just.
It's like, are you not familiar with the politics of being married? Like sometimes, like you just got to do hand stuff because I want to go to sleep. But yes. Let me do the Olympic routine. Fucking every day.
I brush my teeth and I've got my Invisalign lit in. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for letting me do that shout out trip. Yeah. It's lovely. I hope people come. And if you come to my show because you listen to Trip, then please come say hi and let me know, because I genuinely do love chatting to people. It's really lovely to meet people. It's grand. Yeah.
And that way we can have like a good information on the cross-pollination. Like, hey, I found you from these people. But,
yeah.
And then also in the comments, God of War 221. Yes, that is the Penelope.
I am Penelope.
Although fucking smooth brain check. Like the reason Penelope's named that is, because Penelope in the Odyssey. And I always loved the Odyssey, but like I think I read it 4 or 5 times before I realized her name wasn't Penelope.
I do love that. I do love the fact you thought her name was Penelope. I think, yeah, but why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, like, do you guys have Chipotle's over there?
We do.
Okay.
We now have Chipotle's and Taco Bell.
Okay, so you have Chipotle. All right, cool. Who was that philosopher guy that Socrates taught, and then he taught Alexander the Great?
Aristotle.
Yes, Aristotle ate at Chipotle, and they talked about Penelope.
Amazing.
Goddamn Greeks. That is something that bothers me about like the way that they do I guess translations and stuff, where they just don't write it how it's spelled. Like we had this conversation once about the word winter, where I got onto you about like, no, it's not winter, it's winter. And you're like, no, it's not winter, it's winter.
There is a T, my angel, winter.
There's also an R at the end of that.
Yeah, but then I'm from Worcester.
Worcestershire?
I am from where we make Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah. Oh man, I got a joke for you here in a little bit. But on that, do you have any closing notes for the people at home, Lady Diane?
Oh yeah, did anybody at home? If anybody has any closing notes for us, let us know. Thanks so much for listening to our program. Please keep supporting Trip and his amazing, creative, incredible universe, which I'm very privileged to be a part of.
And if you live in the UK, go see Diane or else.
That's great. Yeah, perfect.
People at home, adios.